Every building changes, but what the mentality has been up to now is that these are permanent buildings that we tweak. And maybe we're getting to the point we say, well, maybe they shouldn't necessarily be built as permanent buildings. Maybe they should be built as buildings that are capable of being changed without pulling half of it down and starting again.
What I look for as an architect is a balance between poetic requirements and pragmatic needs, and creating a balance.
We've always come together to do somehow the most ambitious and experimental projects together because we find that that's a field in which we're really compatible.
It took really Ken Livingstone, who sort of said, look, I'm no great sports fan, but if I can get that part of London to be regenerated using the Olympics, then I'll use it. And it was his vision that could recognise that that's what that East End of London needed.
Ultimately, will be seen in the future to be, fantastic benefit to the area.
This is probably definitely our biggest commission to date, and it's a big bit of architecture.
We took a decision, and it was a decision that we always look back on and recognise that was a turning point. It was a really important decision to take. And that was to think about the building not as one building, but as a kit of parts, as a series of pieces of components that could go together in one particular way for the Olympic Games, and then could be reassembled and put back in a different way for whatever might happen afterwards. You could literally lift the entire roof off with those little diagonal white legs, take it off and put it in Hyde Park. It would stand up on its own, it's completely autonomous, and it wouldn't affect anything underneath it. And it meant that we had great flexibility after the Games to rearrange it.
I recently collaborated with Anish, Kapoor and Cecil Balmond. They designed the Orbit, which is a tower on the Olympic site. It's designed to be a viewing platform, and it's 115 metres high. It's a sort of, I suppose, visual centrepiece of the Olympic Park. The artistic intention that we had to help them achieve was a kind of darkness at the bottom, so people walk under this bell and it's very dark and quite light and beautiful, ethereal at the top. It is experimental, it is unusual, it does question everything about what a tower is. It's an unusual combination between art and architecture and engineering.
We're really excited about the project we've been commissioned to do for the Olympics. Pernilla and I won this competition and through our design of a pavilion for Coca-Cola to represent them at the Olympics. And it's this quite large building which is a combination of architecture and sound. We're collaborating with Mark Ronson, who's a music producer, very famous music producer, who's developing the Coca-Cola anthem this year. He did that by going around recording sounds of sports and Olympic athletes around the world, and we've kind of extracted those sounds and used them to kind of tell the story of sport through a journey through the building, an interactive facade that people can remix space and architecture somehow. When we work together, we start with a blank slate, but the ideas that both of us bring to the table somehow complement each other and together produce something really wild and different.
I think each building addresses its function very elegantly and simply and lightly. Simple structures, originally considered, meant to be built quite quickly and then been taken away.
We were doing something that was much more about the event, much more about the show of what the Olympics is all about. And it does start to raise the question, are more of our buildings for the 21st century able to benefit from a thought process which says, do they all have to be permanent?